Hello. I've read a lot of discussion in the forums about stuffing cartridges or restuffing cartridges, and among the many things that are popular, probably one of the more common I've seen and the one that I like is the use of Fluval. I've seen a lot of talk about it, but what I haven't seen, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, is a good instructional, or better yet, a video on how to stuff a cartridge with Fluval. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay, the tools that you will need are very simple. 2 pairs of tweezers. The one pair that I like is a needle nose point. You'll see in a little bit why the needle nose is specifically important. And a pair of tweezers with a square tip. Okay, you can use tweezers with an angled tip like this, but for this task I prefer the square tip. The only other tool that you will need for this task is a pair of scissors. Get that together and a little bit of Fluval, you're all set. Now, if you're not familiar with Fluval, it's a product used in the aquarium industry for fish tank filters. Fish are notoriously sensitive to their environment. I figure anything that is safe in an aquarium environment has got to be safe for us. And that's what Fluval is. It's just basically, they call it a water polishing pad. This is for the model 304, 300-400 series basically. And that's what we'll be using today. Now it comes in a 6-pack set of foam blocks that look like this. If I can get that in the camera right. Okay, that's what it looks like. It's square on all sides except for this one side is rounded. So you get a little bit of waste there, but if you cut it the correct way, you'll get almost full use out of it. Now if you look at it, it's really a bit too thick for what we're doing. And I'll lay a cartridge alongside it and you'll see what I mean. It's way too thick. The simple solution to that is the stuff has a grain to it. All you gotta do is take it and separate it into 3 separate layers, and it separates very easily. You can see I already have this partially separated. Okay, you just get a hold of it about 1/3 of its thickness and you peel it back. It kind of sticks together a little bit, so you kind of got to work it. But if you do it carefully, you can peel it the whole way down. I usually just peel off what I need at the time, but as you can see, you can peel it back and you end up with 3 sections of about equal thickness. Okay. Now, if you're cutting a like a 901 or a mini style cartridge, you want to cut along the short side of the foam. I'll show you why in a minute. If you're cutting a pin style cartridge like a DSE 901, then you want to cut on the long side. And the reason for that is best use. We're going to go ahead and make a cut now. Basically, the thickness of the foam is about how wide you want the cut to be. So if you look at the cross section, it'll be basically a square. And it will be just a little bit larger than your cartridge. Not enough to squeeze it. If it's too big, you squeeze it like a sponge, and a squeezed sponge won't hold water. So you need it to be fairly relaxed, but just snug enough to hold it. And what you get is a piece that's about like that. Okay? Look at the end, it's basically square. Now, the reason for the difference in how to cut, we're going to be stuffing a pin style cartridge, but I need foam for my 901, so we'll do this. All you do is you take and cut it squarely in half, right down the middle. Okay, then you take that and you cut that in half. Now you take your other one and you cut it in half. And you end up with 4 pieces that are the same length, and in this case perfectly fit a DSE 901 mini style cartridge and many other brands. Now if you cut it across the long side like this instead of the short side, you do the same thing, cut it in half and then those 2 pieces in half again, and it comes out to be just what you need for a pin style cartridge. So that's the way to cut Fluval without having any waste. Now we'll take our cartridge, we'll just grab a hold of the old foam, get a hold of it here, and pull it out. There's your old foam out. Now you go put your new foam in, I said it's a little bit bigger than the original, than the cartridges, but not substantially so. Now here's where I use the tweezers with the square tip. I put the Fluval in back here in the wider part of the tweezers. Here that's close together, but there's a little more space in here. So that's where I put it in at. Squeeze the Fluval in. Now get the rest of the way in there. Try and do that without peeling the layers back. Now slide it up a little bit. In order to get it into the cartridge, if I take it and I just try and shove it in the cartridge like this, I'm going to catch the edges of the foam. The foam's going to pull back, and half of it won't be at the bottom of the cartridge. It'll be all folded back. So here's how you get the whole thing the whole way down to the bottom of the cartridge. Go hold the foam and you squeeze it down like this so it fits in between the tweezers. Then you pull it out to where it's just past the tip of the tweezers, just a little bit, like maybe a few millimeters. Okay. Now as you can see, I have it to where it's narrow down here where I'm going to put it in the cartridge, and it wedges out. I take my cartridge, I simply take the Fluval and I just push it right straight down in. Goes in real nice and easy. Now if you just pull your tweezers out, you take the Fluval back out with it. So put your finger on the edge, give it a pull, and a little bit of a tamp. You're basically done. All that's left to do is trim it. But we're not going to trim it yet. And the reason is, I'm one of the guys that likes to use a little tube that we've all heard so much about. It's, if I can get this to where you can see it, yeah, the end of it is beveled at a 45-degree angle on one end, and of course cut straight on the other end. Okay? If you try and just take that and shove it down in, it's going to catch the Fluval. The stuff snags real easy like Velcro. You're going to catch the Fluval, snag it, shove it down in, and it's going to be a pain. That's where the pointy tip tweezers come in. Just take your tweezers, working on right along the very edge between the Fluval and your cartridge. When the tweezers down, make sure you get the whole way down. There's a little lip part way down, right about here, inside the cartridge. Get your tweezers down and past that lip. Hold your fingers up high on the tweezers. You don't want to hold real low because they'll get in the way, and you'll see why. Hold the tweezers high. Give it a squeeze, and basically what you're doing is pulling the Fluval back out of the way. Now if I can get around my fat fingers here, you want your tube, just take it and stick it down in there. You want the beveled edge to face inwards, and that's so that it doesn't get caught up with air. Okay. Now again, just like before, when you pull your tweezers out, you're going to yank everything out with it. So put your fingers down right here, help hold it, catch it just so it doesn't come falling out, pull your tweezers out, and that's it. You're done. My tube is just below the edge, flush or just below the edge. Now if you'll notice, I have some fuzzy foam sticking up from the top. You probably don't want that in your atomizer, especially if it's long enough to get up in there and melt. Gives you a funky taste. Take your tweezers, put the cutting side of this blade against the side of the, figure out which way angle is, against the side of your cartridge. Okay? The cutting side of this blade will go on top. And basically, just kind of snip around a few times, being careful not to cut the cartridge itself. And there you go. A fresh cartridge stuffed with new Fluval and the tube mod, ready for your favorite juice.